Good afternoon and welcome. I've been scolded because I never use the gavel, so I'm trying to get better at using the gavel. My name is Jeremiah Ellison, and I'm the chair of the Policy and Government Oversight Committee. I'm going to call to order our regular meeting for Monday, April 10th, 2023. I'll now have the clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Vita.
Present.
Chavez.
Present.
Koski.
Present.
Johnson. He's absent. Vice Chair Wansley.
Present.
And Chair Ellison.
Here.
We have 5 present.
Let the record reflect that we have a quorum. We have 17 items on the consent agenda, which I'll now read for the record. One is the passage of an ordinance, appointed position in the Finance and Property Services Department, Payroll Director. 2 is passage of a resolution, gift acceptance for the National Association of County and City Health Officials of Travel and Lodging Expenses. 3 is passage of a resolution for a gift acceptance for the Local Public Health Association of Minnesota Executive Committee for Travel and Lodging Expenses. 4 is passage of a resolution for rollover of unspent 2022 appropriations. 5 is passage of a resolution for support for Delta Airline employees. 6 is approving a legislative directive for public safety property use follow-up analysis. 7 is approving a legislative directive for procurement policies and practices. 8 is accepting a bid for a turf establishment. 9 is accepting a bid for Park Lane reconstruction project. 10 is authorizing a contract with Minneapolis Downtown Improvement District for warehouse district activation, events, and safety services. 11 is authorizing a contract amendment with Minneapolis Bicycle Coalition, DBA Our Streets Minneapolis, for 2023 organization of Minneapolis Open Streets. 12 is authorizing contract amendment for graffiti abatement services. 13 is authorizing contract amendments for snow removal services for the special services districts. 14 is authorizing contract amendment with Messenger Construction Company, Inc. for the Minneapolis Convention Center ceiling and lighting upgrade project. 15 is authorizing a contract amendment with Park Mobile LLC for mobile payment application for on-street parking. 16 is authorizing contract amendment for Minneapolis Convention Center snow plowing services. 17 is authorizing contract amendment with Vinco Inc. for catch basin and manhole repairs. I'll ask if there's any discussion on any of these items, but first I'll invite Councilmember Rainville, who's a guest in our committee today, to see if he wanted to talk about item number 10 at all, and give us a word on that.
Thank you, Councilmember Ellison. I have spoken to all of you individually about item 10, so I do not want to belay you today. But I am here to answer questions, as we do have representatives from the Police Department and Downtown Improvement District that are available as well. Thank you.
Great, and thank you for being here. We have Vice Chair Wansley.
Thank you, Chair Ellison. I just wanted to pull items 6, 7, and 11.
Items 6, 7, and 11 are pulled for discussion. Councilmember Vita.
Thank you, Chair Ellison. I'd like to pull item 5 for discussion.
And item 5. So somebody help me keep track of that. Kind of have fasting brain fog here. That's items 6, 7, 11, and 5. Got it. Great. Is there any other discussion from my colleagues?
Chair Ellison.
Yes.
Just to confirm, Councilmember Vita pulled 5 as well.
Yes. So 6, 7, 11, and 5.
Okay.
5, 6, 7, and 11, if you want to go in order. Cool. Well, I don't think any of us have any questions. There's no further discussion. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda minus the pulled items, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. And the ayes have it. We will go in order of the items pulled. And so I will kick it to my vice chair to discuss items 6, 7, and 11.
Thank you, Chair Ellison. So item number 6 is a public safety property use follow-up analysis. This is a follow-up to the previous legislative directive I brought forward. There were a few points which were still unanswered, which needs consideration. Additionally, since the last directive was presented on, the mayor's office has also proceeded to employ discussions around placing the 3rd precinct back on Minnehaha, and that hasn't come with any evidence to the council in terms of, with a rationale for how and why this fits into a citywide comprehensive public safety system. I am incredibly concerned that in spite of unanswered questions regarding future staffing levels, analysis of program delivery outcomes, and a lack of public input that the city is advancing a new third precinct location, there still has not been engagement or clarity on how we plan to accommodate our growing unarmed public safety workers. There's also has been little rationale to explain how these public safety buildings are being prioritized. And I would absolutely say, it's poor governance to refuse to do our due diligence as council members of how we manage our physical assets that are funded by taxpayers. And council has been made aware of some of these issues that we need to address in, considering our growing unarmed safety services and programs. Throughout last year, we heard from our unarmed public safety workers that there was a lack of physical space to support their work in the city. Also, I will name, I love carrying this big stack now. This is like my public safety Bible, but this is the legal settlement agreement with MDHR, and provisions 247 through 252 requires that the city shows its work by completing a comprehensive MPD facility assessment. I'm appreciative that the state has required us to have a process because they clearly identified that the city does have a pattern of not showing its work in regards to decision-making around MPD. But what's troubling is that we don't have a similar process for our unarmed public safety workers. And the execution side or executive side of our government has not provided the council update on how it plans to integrate this new workforce, that of our unarmed safety workforce, into our physical spaces. So evaluation of our public safety resources should be done with parity. It should be done comprehensively. And, I want the council to take this work seriously and be informed of all the options that we have in front of us when we make decisions about public safety facilities and understand how they clearly align to our service delivery goals. So this directive will help provide some of that crucial information as we continue making discussions or decisions around the allocation of our public safety assets, such as physical buildings, and the list can go on. So just wanted to name that behind this directive.
Thank you. And then did we want to take that up before moving on to the next one, or did we want to take up all discussion? Oh, we've got, is your tag still up for this Oh, no, I'm sorry. Okay, no, all good. Just making sure. Councilmember Chavez.
Chair Ellison, as we talk about the staffing shortage that we're on and discussing a more representative response to the different situations our constituents are forced to live with, I know that my constituents particularly have spoken loud and clear on the need for a centralized location for our unarmed or our violence interrupters, people that do our safety beyond policing work. And I just want to thank Councilmember Wansley for bringing forward this legislative directive that I think will be a big asset to a lot of our unarmed response. That I can give an example. On Lake Street, there's a variety of different organizations that do violence prevention, but oftentimes there isn't that coordination because there isn't that centralized location where they can talk, communicate, and try to disrupt the behavior that oftentimes occurs in our neighborhoods, and also the work to do violence prevention. So just want to say thank you to Councilmember Wansley for doing that part. And I think this legislative directive helps us bring more transparency into this process, and very excited about that.
Thank you, Councilmember Chavez. Seeing no further discussion, we can take a vote on item 6. Item 6. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, and that passes. Item number 7, Councilmember Vice Chair Wansley.
Thank you, Chair Ellison. So I'm bringing this legislative directive forward today to help just level set and educate the public about how our procurement department selects and administers contracts. I want to thank our procurement team who is supporting this directive as an opportunity to publicly, clarify parts of the process that might not be clear to residents, and also just, for the public who may be watching. Procurement refers to how the city contracts with outside organizations to do things, whether it's paving a road, hosting an event, or doing community engagement. But there has been a number of recent instances where there has been confusion and frustration with what the city's procurement policies are, particularly in regards to how political viewpoints of contractors do or don't factor into eligibility for contracts. I have heard from various groups that they believe, some departments have political considerations that are taken into account when they award contracts. And I am fully aware, that when I share concerns, in this committee several months ago about, when the city contracts with certain vendors that have a documented public history of harmful actions that work against the interests of working class people, city staff has responded to my inquiries and questions, saying that such information is not relevant and should not be considered when awarding contracts. So that being said, I just want to note that, there has been groups out in the public that have countered that the city does regularly employ these parameters when awarding contracts. And it's being particularly targeted against groups who have been vocal against the city as it relates to our policies and practices. So we have members of the public who are feeling like there's a double standard, which, is why I believe it's important for us to advance this legislative directive and help build credibility and also help end any practices by departments that may be out of line. I want to also know another concern that I have heard from community groups and contractors is that the city has a poor habit of changing the goalposts on the scope of work when contracts are awarded. Just a recent example of this is the 3rd precinct. When the ARPA dollars that I led council to allocate for engagement around the future of Lake and Minnehaha were completely misdirected by the mayor, who changed them then for a completely different purpose. The original intent has always been to do engagement, community engagement around the future site of Lake, or the future development purposes of the Lake and Minnehaha site. But that said, just want to note the troubling piece here is that changing goalposts. And, changing goalposts and, commitments from the city should, not be acceptable. There should be consistency, especially when these commitments are in the form of contracts. The impacts of having unclear and inconsistent policies and practices is not helping build our credibility as a governmental agency, and is not helping the public feel confident that the city is using public dollars in a way that is impartial and consistent with the democratically determined intent of those funds. So there is now, because of these things, hesitation amongst businesses and organizations to work with the city because they are actually worried about their own credibility. So, I'm really looking forward to staff coming back with this information and hopefully, identify areas where the procurement process could be strengthened, especially with regards to equity and transparency, so that council can help in creating a better and more consistent and equitable procurement process for everyone. And I think that's a shared goal amongst this body and our staff. So I just want to give some context behind this LD.
Is there any further discussion on item 7? Does not appear so. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. And that item passes. And then last discussion item from Vice Chair is on item 11.
Thank you, Chair Ellison. So I want to just bring, this item up, which is the contract amendment with Minneapolis Bicycle Coalition, Our Streets Minneapolis for 2023 Organization of Minneapolis Open Streets. My office had conversations about this open streets in the Public Works Committee. And while I share, many people's excitement about the new routes, I do want to echo some of the disappointment that constituents have raised in my ward, as well as in neighborhoods east of the river that do not have an open streets location this year. Last year, I tried to bring forward a staff direction, that's what we were using at the time, to understand the racial equity impacts of how the city supports open streets. Specifically, I wanted to understand if financial support from the city, in addition to in-kind services we, provide here, could also increase the amount of BIPOC vendors that participate in these events, as well as increase the overall total amount of events that we host in a year. Unfortunately, after conversations with city staff and the interim Public Works and Infrastructure chair, that directive did not move forward. But I do want to, let the public know I do plan to restart that conversation again, because despite these issues being brought forward to staff attention, I am still unclear of what work has been done to ensure that we are doing everything, as a city to support open street events, specifically in regards to increasing the events and removing barriers for BIPOC vendors who want to participate in them. I know he's left now, but I did want to thank Councilmember Rainville for his his work behind item 10, which is a multi-event summer loan pedestrian event that is going to be accessible for BIPOC vendors at no cost to them. So this shows intentionality in how we can increase access for vendors who might find that fees of events, those are barriers for them to participate. So I would like to see that same support from the city, be extended to open streets, and look forward to having further conversations about how we actualize that in 2024. So I just wanted to share that context, because my office has been getting hit up about this too. So that is all.
Thank you. Any other further discussion on item 11? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. And that item passes. So we will return to item 5. Councilmember Vital.
Thank you, Chair Ellison. I want to start out by saying that, what are you doing, kid? There we go. I want to start out by saying that I think it's appropriate for any employees who want to have a union to have a union. And I support that for sure. I definitely support labor, but I have a few concerns with this Delta resolution. Do we know if anyone has reached out to Delta and their leadership?
I will defer to Vice Chair Wansley.
No, we have not reached out to Delta leadership, but we have reached out to Councilmember Koski, who sits on the commission that represents basically the liaison between the city and other governmental or local municipalities and the airport commission. So we did inform Councilmember Koski's office about this resolution.
Okay, I'm not comfortable with this because I feel like we should engage all parties before bringing a resolution forward like this. Delta is a huge partner and brings a lot of tourism in our city, and I really think we at least owe them a conversation before bringing this forward. And it's illegal for them to union bus, so they can't do that, but a conversation is extremely necessary. Like, at least let's hear what they have to say before I understand the conversation with Councilmember Koski. But did she talk to Councilmember Koski? Did you speak with Delta about this?
Councilmember Koski, do you want to answer that?
Thank you, Chair Ellison. Yeah, I just want to put myself in queue there. So yes, Councilmember Wansley did reach out to me to let me know that she was bringing this forward, but I have not had a chance to connect with Delta or connect with Councilmember Wansley to find out that she had not spoken to Delta specifically about this. So I have not had the chance to do that. I think you just sent this to me maybe last week or yesterday, but late last week, I believe, was sent to me. And so haven't had a chance to connect with Delta. But I agree, I think that it's fair for us to connect with Delta and hear both sides. So happy to be able to take that time to do that before we move this resolution forward.
I did want to put myself in queue, and then I want to make sure. Okay, you're good to go. And then I know Vice Chair Wansley will have a response as well. I'm comfortable moving this forward for several reasons, but one is because we've often, I think, made a habit of supporting workers as a part of this body, even when we haven't had access necessarily to the large employers that we are supporting them against, so to speak. I know that we have in the past supported nurses, we've supported Starbucks workers, we've supported a number of workers even in previous councils. And so I think I'm comfortable moving this forward. I don't think it's wrong for us to reach out to Delta. I don't think it's a bad idea for those conversations to be attempted, but I don't know. But this resolution, from my understanding, is an assertion because even though it is illegal to union bust and is illegal to not negotiate in good faith, it doesn't always happen that way. And so I think it's appropriate for the council to assert that we want these employees to have their federally protected rights protected. And so that's why I'll be supporting this today. But I'm certainly happy to support any of my colleagues in making contact with Delta as a company, but just wanted to say that piece. Councilmember Vice Chair Wansley, did you want to?
Yeah, thank you, Chair Ellison. You basically share some of the comments that I want to raise in terms of there's established precedence for this in terms of when we passed a resolution with Starbucks. What we did there was my office made a point to connect with the IGR director, and we didn't reach out to Starbucks at that time to get their approval to say that we supported workers in their union efforts. And we have basically been very consistent with that practice. I also want to highlight, again, at the end of the day, is supporting the workers who I don't know if all of my council members are aware, but Delta employees, which are amongst the most diverse, demographic of workers in our state, who support, Minneapolis residents as we're making, commutes in and out from the city, from the state. They have been organizing to unionize for several years now. We're talking about over 5 years at minimum. And, to Council Member Vital's point, while, it is illegal from the National, Labor Board standard to union bust, Delta has absolutely engaged in a consistent pattern of retaliating against workers who have organized. They have terminated unjustly, workers who did lead efforts to organize their fellow colleagues. So this is why it's been a multi-year fight that has largely been led by East African residents, a broad coalition of workers who support the airport and ensures that it functions day to day. So I want to note, this has been a long battle where workers have tried to unionize. They're finally at, the cusp where they look like they're going to be successful in this. And I think it's absolutely appropriate, as we've done with Starbucks workers, as we've done with the Minneapolis Federation of Educators, as we've done with the Minnesota Nurses Association, and even just a couple of cycles ago, what we did with the University of Minnesota graduate student labor. We have always demonstrated support consistently for workers and have encouraged for the parties or the entities that negotiations will happen with to engage in, fair practices as it pertains to bargaining. So I think we're encouraging the same set of rules that, we have approved in other worker-friendly resolutions that this body has supported in the past. So I just wanted to name that.
Thank you. Councilmember Koski.
Thank you, Chair Ellison, and thank you, Councilmember Wansley, for the additional context. And I agree with you, and I am absolutely, and I think my votes have shown I'm pro-labor and pro-workers. But I think for today, as the representative of the airport, working group and NOC, I will abstain today and then take a little bit of time before our next meeting just to get some more information and clarity too. But I appreciate the additional context. Councilor Wansley, I just personally, have not had a chance to do as much digging into, and I'm grateful to hear all the work that they have been doing over the past 5 years, but just want to make sure I do a little bit more digging in myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Vital.
Thank you, Chair Ellison. I also want to just say that, I have supported those previous resolutions and I don't regret any of those decisions. But I will say, when you know better, you do better. A couple of those organizations reached out to me after the resolutions had been voted on, and I did not have the information to share with them that I wished I had. And so moving forward, I want to make sure that I allow folks to come to the table, because I've been called out for that, about voting on a resolution without bringing businesses to the table. And so moving forward, I will not be doing that. It starts with this one, and that's why I won't be supporting this. I'm in favor of delaying it for a cycle or until someone can get in touch with Delta, but I'm not gonna be supporting resolutions when folks are asking to be at the table.
Thank you. Councilmember Vice Chair Wansley. Sorry, I've got the queue a little messed up. Councilmember Chavez, did you want to go?
Chair Ellison, just want to thank Councilmember Wansley. A big majority of my district are East Africa, or a lot of my East African neighbors who do work at Delta and have been reaching out to my office to do whatever I can as a council member to support them in this process. So just wanted to thank Councilmember Wansley in ensuring that we support workers here in the city of Minneapolis, and we support our employees and people that live and work and reside in the city of Minneapolis. So just want to say I'm standing in solidarity with our workers, and I want to thank Councilmember Wansley for bringing this forward and making sure their voices are being heard.
Thank you. Vice Chair Wansley.
Thank you, Chair Ellison. I would say it's actually a good thing if big business or multi-billion-dollar corporations are contacting the council and saying, why are you supporting the workers when you do? That's a good thing. That is absolutely a good thing. And I would hope every council member could say, yes, I'm glad you're reaching out, and I'm glad that, I supported the workers in their efforts to, equitably negotiate, and I hope that you will too. So, I'm absolutely supportive of the workers who have spent several years, many of which, as Councilmember Chavez has highlighted, are of, diverse body of workers, from Latinx and Latino workers to East African and Muslim workers. These folks deserve quality wages and dignified workplace conditions within our airport, and I absolutely will hope that Delta, as a multi-billion-dollar company or corporation, could be able to respect that. So I will hope, council members can, get to a yes on this. Also, as some of you raised, if you ever want to be put in contact with some of the workers who are and have been organizing for better workplace conditions, I'm more than welcome to put you in contact with those amazing and inspiring, leaders in our workforce at the airport, to also give you that context you need to hopefully understand, why you would, if you have conversations with Delta, why they should be supporting their workers in these efforts to finally give the workers a union that they deserve. So just want to also put that opportunity out there for council members who do want additional information. More than happy to put you in contact with the Delta union workers who would love to be able to share this work and, the long struggles they've had to endure with Delta over, the past over 5 years now, as they try to realize this union. So I did want to let our council members know that too. So that's all.
Thank you. If there's no further discussion, I'll move approval of item 11, and I'll ask the clerks to maybe take a roll call, just because it sounds like we've got a diversity of opinions up here. So,
Chair Ellison, just to confirm, item 5.
5.
The, resolution
Yes.
supporting.
Yes. Item 5.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Councilmember Vita,
No.
Chavez,
Aye.
Kowski,
Abstain?
Johnson is absent. Vice Chair Wansley,
Aye.
and Chair Ellison.
Aye.
We have 3 ayes, 1 nay, and 1 abstention.
And that item carries. Lastly, we have a receive and file on the 2022 fourth quarter financial status report for select city funds. This is the standard quarterly receive and file. There is no presentation, but is there any discussion from my colleagues on this item? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to file that report. With that, we've concluded all business to come before the committee today, and with no objection, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.